Hey Dude, Flix Anonymous. I don't know, it's just awesome.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
Human beings were not meant to sit in little cubicles staring at computer screens all day.
Plan B is just to keep on giving her. Like, you work hard. That's what's
Is that a plan?
Yeah, that's a plan right there.
A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me. No. I am the one who knocks.
I know what you're thinking. I've kind of lost track myself. Being this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and will blow your head clean off. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, bunks?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Flix Anonymous, episode 22 at cannabisincanada.ca, theleagueofmanchildren.com, and VancityBuzz.com. I'm Steve Stebbing. This here is Trevor Dueck.
Trevor Dueck, Cannabis in Canada.
That's right.
It's been fun.
It has been fun. It's been a lot of fun. You brought a guest.
I did. Oh yeah, this is Joel McCarthy, everybody,
Hey.
and local filmmaker. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And yeah, we only have a limited amount of releases, so we thought let's bring on a guest and pick at your brain for a little bit.
Awesome. I'm glad to be here.
But first, we got to address some stuff that we didn't actually know was going to happen. Is apparently a lot of people fucking love Batman versus Superman, which is insane. I don't even know.
It's kind of blowing my mind the amount of online debate that's going on, and what's even like crazier is that actually people are defending the movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's what's even nuttier. I don't understand. Like I got somebody really upset today because they thought that critics shouldn't force people not to see films. Apparently, their reviews are supposed to force people not to see movies. So you don't apparently have free will.
See, the thing is, I haven't seen it yet, but because the reviews are so bad that I haven't seen that many positive reviews, so maybe that's my circles. I'm now getting such a sense of intrigue because people are talking about how bad it is. Yeah. So I'm like, and like my friend calls me and he's like, Joel, you got to do it now. You just have to. And like me and him both really did not like the Avengers movies.
Yeah, right.
And so that was like almost like coming out of the closet with the Avengers thing. It's like that and the new Star Wars. Yeah. And so this,
that's right. You didn't like. Oh,
I won't get into that.
Yeah,
but with this one, I got to see the plane crash.
Yeah. It's like a fart that you shouldn't trust.
Yeah.
That's just gonna spray everywhere and just ruin your fucking day. That is that movie, like, to a T. But what really makes me laugh is the fact that we're getting called out for being critics and we're too harsh on movies, when my biggest problems with the movie come from a comic book standpoint.
Oh yeah,
like,
no kidding.
It's ironic, really.
It's true.
So yeah, I don't know. Just had to address it, and you know the Orson Welles fan had to address him
Way
too.
too much venom out there.
There's
you know
so much.
Hey, go see the movie, and if you enjoy it, great, awesome.
They were calling for blood. It was not good.
It's dumbing down of society. I get it. It's all good.
So let's head into the movies of this week, and let's get off the whole BVS thing.
Yeah,
it's just
we're
not
done
cool.
with that now.
It's just not cool. There is one wide release, 2 limited releases, and one release that I totally forgot about that we'll get to as well. The only wide new release this week comes from director Jeff Nichols. Now, this guy hasn't made a bad film yet. He did Shotgun Stories, he did Take Shelter, and he did Mud, and now he's back with Midnight Special. Here's a look.
Are you scared?
Yeah, just
Yes. He's on screen. He's just,
You don't have to worry about me.
I like worrying about you.
You don't have to anymore.
I'll always worry about you,
That's the deal.
Now, this movie is good. Spielberg, but Southern fried. It's all in like Arkansas and the southern states and everything. Goes through in Georgia and everything. Michael Shannon just commands the screen anytime he's on. Joel Edgerton, same thing. This kid, his name's Jaden Lieberher. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Seriously, a really great job by him.
I'm still in shock from the film. I'm still processing it, but I gotta say that the writing was the biggest star, though.
Oh, for sure.
It was a thrill ride.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's best not to give a lot of what the film is about.
Yeah. Well, I went into it knowing absolutely nothing. I specifically, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to it. I want a clean, no perspective. I would not know how you would cut a trailer for that film.
It's tough, right? Yeah.
It's just this slowly unraveling sci-fi mystery, and like I can't even pick a movie that it's like right now.
Exactly, right? That's why I keep making that Spielberg Amblin type of allusion to it, because it does have like E.T., Super 8, kind of like a weird stuff to it.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's a mind fuck, big time, man.
It totally
You could definitely see highly influenced, as you said, by Steven Spielberg, I think. Yeah.
And I think that maybe Warner Brothers was expecting, by giving Jeff Nichols more money and giving him a bigger, just a bigger production, they're expecting something maybe a bit more grandiose, and just the reservation in which he plays this is what works the most.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like 80% of the way through the film, I'm like, whoa, like this is something that could be shot on like a small budget and all that sort of stuff. And then things get a little bit big. I'm like, okay, with all the army, I don't want to say anything. But it then gets like, okay, no, you can't do this as an indie film. It's good that they did that, but the thing that breaks my heart is it's such a hard film to sell, and I don't think it's going to financially do that great.
No,
but I think with critics, it's like it's hard to knock that film.
No,
there was nothing in that film was what you expected to happen next, and like it was like the least, well, knowing nothing about it, it's like the least predictable movie.
Yeah. It was like you go on this little journey and you don't know where it's going to go or what's going to happen in the story. As you said, it all unravels in front of you. But what's even crazier is there's things that happen that they don't explain, and they're just left as unexplained, as a mystery. And
exactly.
It kind of adds to the film. Is like nothing's really going to be explained to you. You're just going along for the ride, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Without giving anything away. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a main thread in this movie is not religion or any kind of stuff like that, but it is just the word belief.
Yeah.
Belief in faith, and not in any sort of religion. Like it's bigger than that, and that's what I really appreciated about it.
Well, it's also like what people take out of like grandiose, amazing things, and you know, whether your perspective from the military, your perspective from a religious point of view, all that sort of stuff. I'm really trying not to say spoilers.
It's tough.
And yet I, at the same time, I still don't know how I could walk down the street and tell someone like, oh, you got to see this movie. It's about a kid. A kid gets abducted, but it's not creepy like you think. Yeah. It's weird. It's really a hard one to sell entirely. Yeah.
It looks like the critics are kind of in line with us as well. It's 84% certified. It hasn't hit wide release yet, and Metascore is 77. So that's not bad, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So
I would definitely give it a positive review.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just hoping people go see it. I mean, and don't give your money to the one that'll probably be #1 this week. All right, so limited release now. This movie is going to be playing Van City Theater. It already opened in the States just before Christmas. It's one of those movies that was bought by Amazon Studios, so it has that limited release to it. I believe it's also on iTunes as well, so you can find it there already. Yeah. This is the new film from Spike Lee. It's a Spike Lee joint. This is Chi-Raq.
Cynics say, well, if I snitch, I'll be killed too. First of all, when a murderer walks free, we are all in danger. But if multiple folks come forward, multiple folks who witness these murders, there is no one target. What makes someone a target is not the shooter. What makes someone a target is the community
like one of the best scenes of the year
that
so far.
surrenders to fear.
So good.
Yeah. High Fidelity did it for me. I was a good fan of his after that.
That was what hooked me.
Yeah.
This movie knocked me through a loop because I'm not a Spike Lee guy. I liked 25th Hour. Yeah. I liked Summer of Sam.
You like Summer of Sam?
Yeah. Do the Right Thing. All right. Clockers, which didn't do well, but I liked it. This one actually did well for me, like not perfectly, but I enjoyed it. It tackles an interesting and controversial issue, the gang warfare in Chicago, which apparently between 2001 and 2011, almost 8,000 people have died in Chicago due to gangland violence, which is more than soldiers have died in Iraq. So that's why the locals have coined it Chi-Raq. And now, I mean, the mayor of Chicago is pissed off at Spike Lee, fired shots. Like there's just this war going on. Chance the Rapper fired back at Spike Lee and said that, you know, don't badmouth my city, you New Yorker. But the cast in this one's pretty big. I mean, Nick Cannon plays a character in Chi-Raq and actually gives a really good performance. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Raps the beginning song to the movie, Pray for My City, which is powerful in the film. Wesley Snipes, it almost steals the movie. Him and Samuel L. Jackson are incredible.
Really, yeah. Samuel L. Jackson's in the film.
He's so good in the movie. He's Dolomides. He's the kind of the narrator of the film.
Okay.
Because I'm watching this movie, I'm like, this is like Spike Lee trying to make his own Shakespearean like tragedy type of thing. But then I found out afterwards in the credits that it's actually based on a play by ancient Greek playwright Aristophanes. It's Lysistrata. I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yeah, he was on CBC the other day. He was doing an interview with Peter Mansbridge, and he was talking about that. It's based on.
I went in with kind of like a limited knowledge. I just had this dark cloud of like, oh my god, I have to watch a Spike Lee film. I'm not a big fan of this guy. Like, what am I going to do?
Is it his films, or is it you were just listening to a bunch of films that you liked about him?
Yeah.
Is it more him as a person, how he is when he's being interviewed, and
it's that it's
his persona?
He's incredibly angry and volatile at all times.
Yes,
and
comes across that way
anger
anyway.
comes through in his propaganda in his films.
Yes,
like even a film like Inside Man, which is supposed to be like a very popcorn fluff pick, is just jammed with propaganda pieces, like right kind of nestled in certain places and stuff. And like he thought that you weren't going to notice type thing, and I had that reservation going into it. But I mean, this cast is really good. Cusack, you saw there.
Yeah,
fantastic. That's one of the best scenes of this year so far.
Miss him.
What
has he been in? Like,
well, he was in that Brian.
He was
in that Brian Wilson movie.
Yes, which is really good. Love and Mercy.
Love and Mercy. Check that out. That's very good. Love and Mercy.
Yeah, it's an excellent one.
Yeah.
But are you guys fans of The Wire at all?
I'm waiting till I get like super sick with something, or maybe when I'm raising my baby, I will watch The Wire if I have like a lot of time to kill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know I'm gonna like it.
If you're doing baby duty and you got like late night sessions, I got through a lot of television
plug the ears
with the bottle and a baby. Yeah, bottle and a baby.
Well, I think it's funny because both Felicia Snoot Pearson are in this and Isaiah Whitlock Jr. are both in this, and they're kind of like main parts of The Wire. So I was just like, I bet Spike watched a lot of The Wire and was like, I'm gonna incorporate these two in there. I think Pearson was in The Sweet Blood of Jesus, so I think that's not a new hire. Let me talk about what's bad in the movie.
Okay.
And it's Jennifer Hudson.
Really?
She's really bad in the movie.
Really? That's too bad.
Just her introduction into the movie was just everything else in the scene is so heightened emotionally, and then she comes in here, and it almost ruins John Cusack's introduction into the movie. But then she makes up for it in the scene later with a very emotional scene after it. But I just don't find Jennifer Hudson very strong, and she's an Academy Award winner.
No, I think she's fantastic. I think she's fabulous.
Yeah,
it's just this wasn't the role.
I guess not. It just didn't really work. Didn't really cohese at all. But the critics are liking this one. This is 83% certified. Meta 77. We got good movies this week.
Yeah,
we got very good movies this week.
Midnight Special. What did you give it?
I gave that one 5.
5? Okay.
Yeah.
Out of 5?
Yeah,
Hey.
I love that movie.
I think I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about. It's a 4.5. Like it's a really great film.
It's very solid.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I'm gonna give Chi-Raq a 3.
Okay.
3 out of 5.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 2.
Sight unseen, you get a 2 because you're Spike Lee.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe an iTunes watch. Production designers and art directors are gonna love this movie because it's gorgeous and it's kinetic. It's just alive and it's just coming at you every second of that movie.
Yeah.
So Yeah, definitely an interesting one that I expected to like a hell of a lot less than I did.
Okay, well, let's see. Little pleasant surprises.
Yes. Our last new release that I've actually seen this week is Cemetery of Splendour. It's going to be playing at the Cinematheque, a theater that we have not mentioned on this podcast before.
No, what do you like about the Cinematheque?
They're putting new seats into it apparently.
Okay.
So I like it. It's just a little bit off the beaten path. It's just on Helmskin there.
Helmskin, okay.
Yeah, it's not. I went there for my first time for the International Film Festival here.
Okay.
I thought nice enough theater. I saw all the stuff I saw there was basically horror and horror related. So
have you been to that theater?
Yeah, way back. I haven't been there recently.
No.
But, it's a nice theater. I always mean to. It's like. It's on that side of Vancouver, like I'm really committing to going into Vancouver now.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Like I said, it's like off the beaten path, really.
Yeah.
Like you blink and you miss it because it's kind of tucked away too once you get there. But the movie is called Cemetery of Splendour. This is the one I was talking about at the end of last week's episode when I said this is a director that I can't really pronounce his name.
Oh God!
So I'm going to pronounce it right now.
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
Apichatpong Weerasethakul. Apichatpong Weerasethakul. I wish I set up like that bouncing ball so I can be like Apichatpong Weerasethakul.
You worked on that.
Yeah. I did. I kind of repeated it to myself while I watched the movie. There is really no clips for this movie, but there is a trailer, and here it is right here.
Oh.
มาบอกป่าว่าซุ่มทหารอยู่ห้องเฮียนป่านั่นรักษาเท่าใดก็บ่เศร้าดอก
We could totally do the English dub for this.
Could. You could. There's not a huge amount of dialogue. There once was a palace here. The spirits of the dead kings siphon the soldiers' energy. I don't know which one's which.
Uh-oh.
At least there's some chicks in this movie.
Yeah.
Terrible. I'm sorry.
The guy had a dinosaur in his yard. Walking somewhere, he's disoriented.
เขาถามคอยว่าอยากเห็นหรือบ่เห็นหยังงั้นป้าก็ลืมตาโตๆดิ
Trippy movie.
ป้าเห็นความฝันของเธอ
Yeah, it is.
ความฝันของป้า
Wow.
Yeah, it's Cemetery of Splendour is definitely a doozy of a film. The director, as you saw there, he won the Palme d'Or in 2011 for a movie called Uncle Bon Me, Who Can Recall His Past Lives. And people have been talking about this guy for a long time, experience this guy's films.
Whose name we can't pronounce.
Apichatpong Weerasethakul.
I know. And you can't because you've been practicing.
Yeah, I worked on that.
Favorite
Apichatpong?
Apichatpong.
Have you seen the new Apichatpong flick?
Yeah, checked out Apichatpong.
Yeah.
Yeah. we're in a loop.
I feel terrible. I feel like, can you just make it like a more American kind of sounding?
His name's Joe Miller now.
Joe Miller.
I know exactly.
I'm with Joe.
He's going to change his name for
American
Hollywood.
Joe the Plumber.
Gary. Gary Jones.
Basically, the movie takes place in Thailand, and it's about a clinic in a small village where the soldiers have fallen ill to a sleeping sickness where they're passing out for days or weeks at a time. And it's believed that it may because the place is built on apparently mythical palace from 1,000 years back. So it's an interesting one. It has elements of David Lynch to it sometimes in just like color and framing and everything. So much so that you expect something really freaky to happen, but it doesn't. But 20 minutes in, a guy takes a bowel movement on camera.
What?
Yeah, goes out into the bush, but at the camera, takes a poop.
Oh, that's a reason to see it right there.
Yeah. 20 minutes in.
What?
Yeah. Just unflinching. Just like, you just go, man. Just
doing it.
Trow it up, man. It's good.
Wow, I feel like such a sham of a filmmaker. Like
I just gotta get the realistic.
Yeah.
You should always go out and take a big shit in the middle of the street.
And
in all your films now, from now on.
I feel like, because no one's gonna see this, I feel like I should steal that for my own. And no, I'm kidding.
No, you can add to it though. You can
Exactly.
have them do it in the middle of a street in a windstorm, and then have it blow away and do some Mendy's American Beauty shit.
There you go, American Poopy. I don't know.
There you go. Hey,
Poop just goes in the
credit
wind.
me a little bit.
A
little bit on that one.
Yeah.
But I just want to hear the production, the behind the scenes. They're like stunt poo.
We're not gonna.
You can't do a take two.
No.
Take one.
Feed me.
Exactly.
We are not gonna make a movie about shit.
No.
Hollywood already does that. There's already
this
one
isn't
right
Hollywood.
now.
This is Thailand.
Yeah.
The Thai are making bowel movement cinema.
Well, I guess they're trying to keep up to the States.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly it. They're trying.
Yeah.
They're keeping up to Batman
Zack
versus
Snyder.
Superman. I said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're making poops. But the movie is 95% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 87 on Meta.
So it's actually we just totally shit on a movie that's
No,
actually
we
probably
didn't
pretty
actually.
good.
We didn't really. We're just taking a shit on the one part about a guy taking a shit.
But it's a good film. You like it?
No, I gave it a 2 because it just didn't. It's like it didn't connect with me.
Are you saying it's
shitty? I'm just saying that it just. I mean, like the movie we reviewed a couple of weeks back that you hated, and I just said it just didn't work for me. And
What's
that a
that?
friend of ours loves.
Oh, that certain film called Night of Cops.
Night of Cops, a Malick film. Do you like Malick?
I'm like hitting. I have to be in the mood.
Yeah.
I can't just like hey.
He's doing his thing, man, and people do love him.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Night of Cups is not the one that people are loving, but
No.
you know, we know friends that love it, so
Yeah.
we won't go beyond that.
So you're giving this one a 2.
I'm giving this one a 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
what
what
kind of
didn't
washed
do for it?
over me. There were shots that I really liked about it. Like it looks gorgeous.
It looks kind of cool.
It looks gorgeous, but it's just there's just so much nothing in between everything.
So it's pretty boring.
It kind
is
of
what you're
loses.
saying?
Yeah, it kind of loses you a bit. It takes a while for the film to be rewarding.
You gotta
and
be in the mood.
I think that hurts it.
Yeah.
It's like about an hour in where it starts to really become rewarding, and it's just like you lost me already. So
All right. Well,
there is one movie that I totally forgot about. And it's just it's faith-based stuff. Sometimes
here we go. Hang
I forget about it because I forgot about Miracles from Heaven as well.
before we do this, should we pray?
I can't. I can't. I'm allergic.
All right.
But it's just a movie that wasn't on my radar, unfortunately.
I can't believe this.
I know. It's God's Not 2.
No,
Look
God's
busy. He's pissed. The sequel.
God's Not Dead 2.
God's Not Dead 2, yeah.
Oh, man.
So what is this film?
Okay,
You
so
guys
you
are
know
brief.
more about it than I do.
Yeah, well, because I heard that you were talking about, like, we were talking about 3 movies that were opening up this weekend. I'm like, I think God's Not Dead 2 is coming out. I'm like, I hope we're discussing this film because the first God's Not Dead, there's like this trailer that drops on the internet, and it's Kevin Sorbo is a professor that teaches philosophy.
Right.
And in order to be in his class, everyone in the class has to denounce God and be like, God's dead. And then so they can never bring up God in debates in this class. And like this one kid's like, no, man, God's not dead. And I will challenge you to a debate. And
he's like, look, you little shit. I was on Andromeda, all right?
Yeah.
I was Hercules for years. Don't fuck with me.
But on top of that, there's like 10 other intersecting storylines, and like they try to like make it like the Love Actually meets like faith-based movie, and it's so like some of it's like pretty racist, some of it's like just like the solutions are ridiculous, and it happened to open up on April 20th weekend 2 years ago.
Oh, God.
And me and my friend were obsessed with this trailer, so we're like, let's go opening weekend, man. And we may have
first in line.
May have had a little bit of cannabis in Canada. I'm not going to get to anything.
It opened on 420?
That weekend.
That weekend,
I think
yeah,
it was like it was like the Saturday.
Perfect.
And so me and my friends go, and I had to leave the theater 3 times because there's like youth groups and stuff like that.
Right.
I had to leave the theater like 2 or 3 times because I was crying, laughing so hard, and I couldn't handle my howling. It was, you know, when you want that movie that's like, it just is exactly what everything I could have hoped it to be.
Right.
And it literally, there's a scene in the movie where it, like, they turn the cameras basically, and they're like, okay, everyone in this theater, pull out your phones, take it off airplane mode, pull out your phones, and I want you to text every single person on your friends list and tell them that God's not dead.
God's
and
not
like
dead.
you get all these.
It's cool. We'll wait.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's cool.
I have stuff I could do.
And so like there's like all these youth groups and stuff in there, and they're like looking to their leaders, like, come on, get out your phones. And me and my friend are like, oh yeah, I am so all over this.
Oh, yeah.
So we texted
Praise
everyone on our phone, God's not dead. And they're like,
Joel had a stroke.
They're like, are you high? And
yeah. Yes, I am. You signed them all with pot leaves emojis, so that.
So you went to a Christian film completely stoned, and you love this movie now.
Oh yeah, no, I have so much love for it, and I keep meeting people. It's like a growing cult base. Someone, like a couple people, they're just like, Joel, you need to see a film. It's called, I know it's gonna sound dumb, it's called God's Not Dead. And I'm like, the biggest fan. Like it's like this thing. Like I highly recommend watching it.
Oh,
and
jeez.
I'm gotta wait for my friend to see it. We're trying to find a time where we can see it, but.
I guess it's out Friday.
This has been one of my biggest anticipated 2016s.
That's amazing.
And you just completely went over your head.
I totally lost it. I dropped the ball on that one. But this is the fourth faith-based movie in 2 months.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a new.
Gotta get in that world.
Yeah,
you really do, man. There you go. Don't make a good.
You got to rub elbows with Kirk Cameron.
Yeah. All right. Somebody.
And tell him that God did create bananas. I think he has something about God, that he says banana was made by man.
Oh, because it fits perfectly in a hand.
Oh, right, yeah, that's right.
I've heard that.
God did make bananas because it fits perfectly in your hand.
I've heard that argument a few times, and you're just like, oh, people don't know the history of genetically modified food.
I know, right? Right?
Wow.
He was just trying to say dicks. That's just what we were trying to say. Exactly. He was just trying to say dicks. So on that note, God's Not Dead 2, he's back. Let's head to
Ready for blood.
Yeah, let's head to our Netflix VOD recommendations.
Here we go.
All right. I think I've been waiting for this one for a little while now.
Okay.
One of the greatest theatrical events that I've been to in my adult life was Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight. And
really?
now
the
it's
greatest?
on Blu-ray. Yeah.
Greatest, really? Wow, good for you.
Have you ever seen anything on 70mm before?
Probably not, no.
I went and saw it on 70mm.
Was it one of the ones that broke?
No, I'm not a big fan of that theater, and
okay.
I was so far away. Like there was nothing gained from it. It was nice to have an intermission,
right.
But it was packed, and I enjoyed the film, but I couldn't in all my I couldn't be like, you must see it 70mm. Okay. I'm on the other camp.
Okay.
And I like digital projection I think it's one of the greatest things to happen. I think shooting film, it's a cool aesthetic, but digital projection I think is the best way. And we saw with this road show how many places it broke down, how many people had issues, how many people like wanted to kill the projectionists or the theaters, and like I love the idea. I love the idea of the road show, having like the intermission, all that sort of stuff. I love that. The 70mm, if it was digital, I would have been fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the first time I saw it was in digital because they didn't have it in 70mm at the time.
Yeah.
But we watched the full roadshow version, and I probably wouldn't. I enjoyed it, and I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it anymore if it was in 70mm. I don't know if for me anyway, it doesn't add too much, but for some people geek out about that sort of thing.
This is Hateful Eight. Look at it.
Did you say your name was again? Warren. Benny and Sweet Dave in there?
Minnie and Sweet Dave went to visit her mother on the north side of the mountain.
What?
Yeah.
Minnie ain't here?
Yes, they're visiting her mother.
Her mother?
Yes.
Never knew Minnie had a mother.
Everybody's got a mother.
Yeah, so
Hateful
good.
Eight. Character acting, just consistent. Just everybody just hits this film in all cylinders. Samuel L. Jackson is incredible in this movie. Jennifer Jason Leigh, Damian Bashir there. He's almost very cliched as this Mexican character, but he's amazing.
Yeah, it just felt like a. I loved it. It's like a stage play, and yet at the same time, it's like you're shooting everything in one location, and they break it up by cinematography, like how they'll just start shooting it slightly different as it goes, so it feels like a ton of different scenes, and like 90% of it's in one room. And I got to applaud them. I have nothing but appreciation for this film. Was it my favorite film of last year? No. But do I respect the film completely? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth checking out now that it's available on VOD.
Yeah,
for Academy Award winner for score as well.
That's right, which is really, really
it's a
well
soundtrack
deserved.
I listen to when I write and stuff like that. It definitely helps out. So it's on Glorious Blu-ray now, and I'm sure it's got all the special features that everyone wants to check out. But that's my VOD recommendation this week. Trevor, what do you got?
I pulled one out off of Netflix, actually. You guys were a fan of Pee Wee Herman back in the day?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then there was like Big Adventure, right?
Big Adventure, Big Top
Pee Wee, which, yeah. And then the television show, obviously. Netflix... And
a Broadway show, too.
Really?
He did an HBO Broadway show.
That's right, yeah. So Paul Rubens, who plays Pee Wee Herman, has a new show on Netflix called Pee Wee's Big Holiday. So I went and checked that out. I think we have a clip. We'll run that.
I never even been on an airplane.
No. The only thing you're gonna learn about yourself on a plane is that you like the honey roasted peanuts better than the plain salted. If you're really hungry, the open road is a smorgasbord of life experience. A few days on the open road is worth a lifetime in Fairville.
Yeah, see, there's...
Way I see it, Pee Wee Herman, you got a choice to make.
There's a lot of sexual tension.
Stick around here. Live a little.
So what's crazy about this film is, first off, Pee Wee, his friend there, played by Joe Manganiello, he ends up going to New York, okay, and Pee Wee decides that he's going to go to New York and join him for his birthday, and it's like throughout this entire movie. So he goes on this road trip, kind of similar to Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Right.
So he goes on this road trip to go to New York to meet up with his good friend there. Good friend. He has these weird dreams about him and things like that. And so as he's going on this adventure and meeting up with different people and having these other little mini adventures, the entire time it's all about getting to see his good friend. There's a lot of sexual tension and innuendo in this show, and I think they do it on purpose. I think they're kind of saying that, Pee Wee enjoys, men as well.
Yeah.
Who knows what his sexuality is, but it's very open.
Yeah.
And they actually make a point of not slapping you in the face with it, but it's very obvious when you watch that.
I think Pee Wee Herman's trisexual.
Probably.
He can just try anything because he's just that fun-loving guy. And I'm just happy that we're finally giving Paul Rubens, like, a chance again.
Iconic character.
Yeah, I like that we're giving a chance again after the scandal of him beating off in an adult theater, where that's where people do in an adult theater.
That's such a weird... Remember when that story came out?
Yeah,
it was huge.
It was scandalous, and I was like, no.
But it took me forever to find out that it was in an
adult theater. Yeah.
Because everyone was like, he was jerking off in a theater.
He was jerking off to Beauty and the Beast. What's wrong with that guy?
It got twisted into that for sure.
Yeah,
Paul Rubens, he likes to whack one off at the Disney films.
Yeah,
he's weird.
It was like he was sitting with a row of Girl Scouts around him.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah,
but it's just so sad because like the internet just became a big thing after that, and it's like you could have just had this solved. It's just born at the wrong time.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad, but I haven't checked it out yet. But
it's decent. It's good to watch with your family still. It's still family friendly. But it's funny watching Paul Rubens do the character now that he's a lot older and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's not able to do the voice pitch perfect like he was able to do back in the day. So you can tell he doesn't talk. He goes like that part of his voice you can tell is really strained.
Oh yeah.
So you'll notice it when you watch it, but he does a great job of adapting, and it's still got a little bit of heart in it. It's kooky, like I said, with the sexual undertones. So it's perfect.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Joel, and you brought something.
I brought World's Greatest Dad. It stars Robin Williams, and it is here's the thing about World's Greatest Dad is the cover looks like the most typical, like, it's a family comedy, and like it says World's Greatest Dad. He's got a mug that says that, and it's like, oh, today's gonna be a tough day.
Yeah.
And so I worked at a video store when that came out, and a family went and rented it, and so it's like a 2009 film. I didn't know anything about it. It's like, oh yeah, Robin Williams, oh, he's a World's Greatest Dad. And this family comes back like an hour later, livid.
Yeah.
Livid. They're like, this is not a family movie. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know if it was or it wasn't. You didn't ask me, but in all fairness, I should have known with like the family and all that sort of stuff. I was out to lunch, and then I went to go watch it, and like the opening scene is like, the opening scene is like the boy. Robin Williams' son autoerotic asphyxiating himself, jerking off while like tying a noose around him, and I was like, what is this? Oh, I can't believe I did that.
It's a good film if you want to watch a spy kid beat off in a closet.
This is true. It's such a dark film. It turns a mirror on society in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
and,
it does.
And it deals with. I didn't end up watching it till recently, but it deals with the thematic of like, after someone dies, like how they're like this kid was like the shittiest kid. I'm gonna spoil it because it's the first act thing, and I think in the trailer it probably
does it. Yeah.
But the kid ends up doing autoerotic asphyxiation and accidentally kills himself.
Yeah.
Okay. And his father and this is like a common thing that happens all across the world now, is the parents don't want them to find out that this is how kids are dying, right? So he writes a fake suicide note, and then that note becomes like this big poetic piece, and his dad is a failed writer. So his dad's like, whoa, I could really profit off this.
Oh, no.
And starts like, oh, he actually has been writing all this stuff this whole time. And like, it's such an awkward film. It's hard to watch in a lot of ways, but I loved it.
I pulled a clip for this one, too.
Oh, okay.
School's a really good one.
I'm more Squirters XXX. But...
Well, I mean, 3X is in the title.
Yeah.
You're good.
I don't know.
I'm actually the same when I buy them as well.
It's always a tough decision.
I have to address something about this man here. This man right here.
Yeah.
He is an icon.
Yeah.
His name is Chris Novoselic.
Okay.
Chris Novoselic was the bass player for Nirvana.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. And he makes his acting in that film there.
Yeah, that clip doesn't do it justice.
No,
Go see
not
this
at all.
film.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah.
I just wanted. I saw that. I saw that Chris Novoselic was in there. I'm like, I gotta use that clip. But Bobcat Goldthwait wrote and directed it.
Oh, there you go.
He was Zed in Police Academy. He was massive in the 80s, early 90s. And now he's a filmmaker now.
Very funny stand-up.
Yeah. And now he makes these very dark, darkly funny films.
He seems like he's a very cynical human being.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it really shines. Like he did God Bless America. Really fun film. A little bit self-indulgent. It's like a movie that's the definition of like writer-director.
Mm-hmm.
But I love World's Greatest Dad.
Yeah, me too. It's definitely. I think it's his best one that he's released so far. Let Sleeping Dogs Lie was his first one. A very valiant effort, but this one excels for sure.
I hope that after Robin Williams passed, I hope that people found this film.
Me too. Some of his darker work for sure.
It's some of his darker work, and it almost poeticizes his death in some weird way. Like if you watch it, I'm intrigued to rewatch it. But a lot of this is the commentary on people's legacy after death and whatnot, and I think it now is going to become super meta watching it, although I have not watched it since.
That'll be a tough one.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's hard for me to watch Robin Williams stuff.
It
Definitely,
is.
The wife is the same way, so it's very tough.
Yeah.
So let's get into actually talking to you about everything that's
Tell us
you.
about you. Yeah, man.
Well, I'm a filmmaker. I kind of was one of those kids that like saw like Jackass and CKY as a kid, and I'm like, oh my god, people can do stunts for cameras, and people watch this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So like here we were like 10-year-old kids, and we'd steal a shopping cart and like throw it against curbs. We were just
not a good idea.
Oh, we were such bad kids, and I like we just loved it, and I started editing these together, and like that was like my path, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I could start telling stories, and a lot of it was just kind of going through that, and then I knew from when I was like 10 years old, I'm like, I'm gonna be a filmmaker, and I just kind of never grew out of it. Yeah. And so I guess. And then when I was graduating film school, I had a friend come up to me, Spry Bry, Brian Bozen. He was like, dude, I want to make a film where we take my parents to Burning Man.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, that hasn't been done. Like, I know there's an episode of Malcolm in the Middle where they go with the parents.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like that.
Oh, there's inspiration there, maybe.
Yeah, well, I think that's where it came in the back of the head. And he's like, yeah, and I want to call it Burning Boundaries. And he says, and he's like, we need to partner together and make this film. And I'm like, I'll do it. I love the idea. I can't believe that it hasn't been done.
Yeah.
But we got to call it Taking My Parents to Burning Man.
Yeah.
Burning Boundaries is the worst title ever, and it sounds like this pretentious art film. And I had, at that point in time, like I'd done.
What are you, a Cohen?
Exactly. Yeah. I had done a lot of narrative. Has been, I had a few little short films that did really well in film festivals, and that was kind of my world. But I knew that this is one of those ideas where you're just like. When you watch a movie, you're like, oh my god, how did I not think of that? Like the new Seth Rogen Sausage Fest movie, Sausage Party. I'm just like watching that, like, how has no one done Toy Story but with food?
Right,
like it's such a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And so that's how I felt about it. So we just kind of we crowdfunded $10,000, which is not enough money to make a movie, and we went out and shot Taking My Parents to Burning Man. That was like my first time out of school in my entire life. I just got out of university after going right into high school, and it was like the first thing out of the gate. It's like, okay,
and you went to
gonna
Burning
make
Man.
a movie, yeah. And it was my first time going to Burning Man. My partner on the project had gone like 3 times already, and he'd always wanted to show it to his parents, and I just kind of dove into the deep end with it.
Actually, I got the clip for it right here.
I grew up in a loving suburban family. My parents put me through 12 years of Catholic school and a decade of Jesus camp. In general, I rarely fit in. That's when I discovered Burning Man. It's a place where 60,000 people built their version of the greatest city on earth. A week of dust and debauchery in the middle of the desert. For ages, I've been trying to describe this place to my nearly retired parents. And then this year I decided, why not take them along for the ride of their lives?
Guess what? We're taking them to Burning Man!
So what was it like bringing it to festivals? I mean, you obviously got a bunch of acclaim as well. So
it was that was the craziest thing, because we were 2 kids out of school and we made this film, and like everyone will tell you, like, your first feature, no one will give a damn, no one will give a shit. Like, just do it. It's practice. It's all that sort of stuff. And like early on, like we like all of a sudden we're like, we weren't done it yet, and like we get contacted by like the Weinsteins and all that sort of stuff, and like people are like, because we cut a trailer like right because we needed to get some more crowdfunding right when we got back, and like people are like, what, we want to know what's going on with this. We had distributors wanting it. We got into some film festivals just because someone saw the trailer. Like, I don't care what the film is. I saw you guys won an award there, and I saw the trailer. Like, can we fly you to Maui in a couple weeks?
Jesus.
You're like, okay.
Nice,
and so it was this really weird thing, because like, a lot of the film festivals we went to are just run by like really rich old white people, and it was a story about old white people going to Burning Man. Yeah. And it was we could not have ever expected what it was like, because our world premiere was in a 150 seat theater, and it was like a matinee at this at the Sonoma Film Festival, and we're like, okay, well, hopefully we're gonna try to get people there. Our opening one, we had over 50 people turned away. It was like people just wanted to see it. And so then we did our second screening at Sonoma, and 200 people were turned away. Like we were overpacking the theater. And so they're like, we're going to put a third screening on. And it was like during like the awards ending and stuff like that. We're like, I'm not sure if people are going to go because of the big parties that happening during that. And we sold out again. And then the local theater there was like, hey, when you guys exit, like, what if we did next weekend? We just like had the theater just playing your film. We'll give you a cut. And it was like, okay.
Yeah.
So that was like the start of it. And it was like, so it was kind of, it's a weird scenario because all of a sudden we'd go to like festivals and like we'd be getting this like weird celebrity treatment and there would be real celebrities with us. And it was like, it was crazy. And then finally, you go through distributors, it gets distributed and it's out there now, which I hate the limbo of being in festivals, but it's been fantastic. In this city, we've played at the Rio, I think like 10 times now. And it just like, we'd already played there a ton of times, but our VOD was coming out. We're like, do you think we could do like some weekday shows? And like, we still had over 200 people in the audience each night. And it was like, that film to us, although in Canada no one gave a shit, no one would answer our emails. All the establishment kind of Vancouver.
This is the state of Canadian film.
Oh my god!
What I'm saying.
This is why they have issues, right? Why?
You'd be surprised how little like government-run Canadian film places like would not even have the decency to respond to us.
Wow.
And
so
it was
like Telefilm, all these people.
All that sort of, I'm not going to name specifics, but and so it was this weird thing. We had to even convince the Rio to play it. They're like, we don't do many documentaries here. Like that's a Saturday night. That's like you have to realize like we lose a lot of money when we show docs. Like how about we do like an afternoon kind of thing or what have you. And then they're more like you need to find another theater because like ours is for bigger things. And then our first weekend at the Rio, we sold out every show and
they're like, come on over.
And they're like, we got to do more shows, man.
Saturday nights we'll do 2 screenings.
So it was a weird experience, and that film it's definitely like the most crowd pleasing thing I've directed and. I co-directed it with Bri, my partner on it, and it was just a crazy journey. We jumped into features, had no idea what we were doing, and I'm stoked that so many people like enjoyed the film. I get messaged still pretty regularly on there. People are like, just watched it, and like it's like the film that doesn't die, and we keep finding like pirated versions, and then our distributor tries to take them down and another one comes up, which is pretty standard. But
so now you have a project that's basically in the chamber now, ready to emerge.
Well, we've done the film festival circuit with it, and so it's ready to come out. And this film is like my big love project.
Nice. Okay.
It was it's called Shooting the Musical. It was originally called After Film School, and it's a film about a guy who actually ended up being a lot like World's Greatest Dad. I hadn't seen that yet.
Shit.
But it's about a guy who the star child of a film school committing suicide and leaving behind a script. And our hero finds this script and declares that he is going to live on this guy's memory by making this film. And then he ends up reading the script after getting everyone rallied into it, and he's like, oh my gosh, it's the most depressing script ever. It's written by a suicidal guy, and it's about a guy who shoots up a school, and it's all like super dark from his perspective. And so he decides like, he secretly changes it into a comedy musical and pretends that High School Shooting the Musical was the film that was intended to make. And this film, like, it was just such a passion project. It's a mockumentary that very much takes place in my world, so I didn't have to like I wrote basically with like the resources I had. We did some rather shady things to get some locations we needed, and
guerrilla style filming, right?
It was guerrilla, and we had big scenes where we didn't have any permits or anything like that. Like, if anyone asks for shooting a wedding proposal video, no one will shut you down for love.
Yeah.
Let's just keep going.
We're using love.
And it's so interesting because the film itself is about like having to make a controversial film and doing that with no money and the things you deal with.
Yeah.
And then it just became this.
While you're actually doing that,
it became it became a self-fulfilling prophecy though. It was like, like they couldn't get a school in it, so they ended up writing a fake Christian film that they're pretending to shoot in this school, and we couldn't get a school to agree to it. They're like, oh, I don't want anything to do with high school shootings.
Yeah.
And we're like, good thing we have this script called First Block. It has all the same settings, and this is true.
You had an actual script already written.
My writing partner. We found a place that would let us shoot, and it's like, we need a fake script with all the locations we need. And so I called him, and we like brainstormed out this like not so good script, and then he sends it to me like I need it tonight. He sends it to me, and I read it over, and I'm like, oh man, the second act sucks, and this that, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? Why do I care? And like did like the smallest pass on it. Like, I shouldn't care. Like a lot of people make terrible films and think that they're gonna be good. I don't need this fake script to be like something I'm like genuinely proud of.
You're like, this is the next one.
So
I'm doing this after.
Yeah. So yeah, it was such a fun, and it was like me and my friends' weekends for a summer, and I edited during the week while I was doing whatever work I was doing. And also, this was while taking my parents to Burning Man was blowing up.
Oh shit! Wow.
So it was. We started shooting a week after our world premiere of Taking My Parents to Burning Man, and actually, the premiere in the movie was shot at our Vancouver premiere.
Wow!
And we had all the signs around, like, "Hey, we're filming something here," and we just like guerrillaed in there because it's like mockumentary. If someone flashes the camera, that's fine.
Yeah.
And it was. We shot the film for $5,000.
Wow.
Holy shit.
And then the post was like, it added up. And it's just so making movies is like so draining, and like you so rarely see financial reward. But this film is just like, it was something that a lot of like our philosophy, like we tried to get some funding for this film, but most of that got rejected because it was like government trying to, and no one, and so a lot of my philosophy with this is like, okay, if no one will fund our film, let's make a film that no one would fund.
Nice, and
exactly. That's good.
The defiant nature of just like
fuck them.
Exactly. That's exactly.
So
it.
yeah, I'm not sure. I think you guys have a clip.
I do. Yes.
Once in a lifetime, an artist gets an idea so brilliant, so revolutionary, that the idea itself changes the world.
High School Shooting, the musical. Who's ready to make the funniest high school shooting movie ever?
This was not one of those ideas.
Would a homo do this? Would a homo do that? Would a homo bring a gun to school and end your life with a splat?
Action!
You can't make a musical about a high school shooting. It's literally the most tasteless topic for a comedy musical.
I think we've got to start lying to them and tell them the film isn't about high school shooting.
It's about followers of Jesus in our high school.
It's so easy to fall into temptation and make gratuitous, violent films. And I am so grateful for your courage.
Are we sure we're going to get actors out to audition? It is a high school shooting movie.
I'm so scared. Do not shoot me because I will die.
Long story short, I'm not allowed back at Disneyland. How is this offensive? It's a disguise. Just because it's a comedy musical about high school shooting doesn't mean that it can't have themes that make us ponder the human condition.
That's fantastic.
Bravo, man.
It's a fun film. It's definitely I don't. It's one of those films where like I don't care what audiences take away from it. Like got to make a film that absolutely was exactly what I wanted.
It's exactly
and it is such a fun film to watch with an audience because there's so many little curveballs we throw in there, and we just like keep testing people's line as it goes further and further, and yeah, it was a fun film.
Yeah, I've seen it. I enjoyed it.
I need to see it now.
Yeah,
I'll send you a screen.
It's just very well done, man. It's very creative. It's like you said, it can be offensive if you allow it to be. I guess
never offended.
Well, so. My thing is, as long as you have someone point out the thing offensive or say the antithesis of it, like what you're doing is offensive or something like that. As long as someone kind of gives you that perspective of what is okay and what is not okay, it then gives you full license. If you never have someone kind of have those moments to talk about it, I feel like then it comes off that way. But yeah, we're finally getting a release date. I'm not sure what our release looks like exactly.
Okay.
But it's August 17th.
Okay, awesome.
And so it's a ways from now because independent film distribution is
tough.
Slow.
Yeah.
It's so sad and tough.
No doubt. Well, there's some films that don't come out for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
and
well,
it's crazy.
Yeah, we finished this at the very end of 2014.
Oh shit! Okay.
Which was crazy because we got it into the Whistler Film Festival to start off its festival run, but it was like both Taking My Parents to Burning Man and that came out in 2014, and that was. It was just a hell year.
Having 2 films in the same year.
Yeah, well,
it
was that one then took over circuiting after, so it was like I never got a chance to like come up for air in between, and then people are like, "What's next?" And you're like, I have so much debt from not working.
Yeah, I'm so poor I can't eat.
Is that a question that's just like a head shaker when you're like, "What's next?" And you're just like, "I just did this."
Yeah.
Can we talk about this more?
Well, with Taking My Parents to Burning Man, I had this one ready to go, so I was all ready with that. And then with that, I was pretty burnt out. Like I got my new feature script that I've been poking at right now, and we're almost at a point where I can start shopping it to people and possibly get some funding for it. But yeah, it kind of took me a little while. Like I wanted to do some low stakes stuff after that because it's like it just costs so much money having your film in the festival circuit, trying to keep it alive, taking time off, traveling to go these things. Like it's a lot. And so after that, like me and my friend were just like, let's just like shoot stuff on weekends. We'll make our we had a web series. It's called Average Dicks. It's some really highbrow stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I'm down.
And so that was
he likes Average Dicks.
Oh, you watched it?
I've heard people have them.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't actually seen it yet, so I need to get caught up for sure.
Oh yeah, you this.
When I got the links yesterday, when you sent me the links yesterday, I was just like, God damn it, I really need to be versed on all of this.
Oh, the local. It's so hard to promote local stuff.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that's tough. And so yeah, our idea with Average Dicks is like, I'm so sick of trying to like please certain things and get into these festivals, suck up to this and that, and like. Let's just make something where we just give no fucks. And we decided that we were going to start this web series like on a Tuesday, and we were shooting that Friday. Like we had no idea. Like, okay, we're going to start making something this weekend, and that was like, yeah. And then so people will read into like, oh, so why do you think this, then that, and then like it just came to our minds. We just decided like, hey, we could go out this Saturday night and strike out at the clubs, which we hate, or we could just not care and make stuff. And that was kind of like that's kind of where I always come from, is like I don't think money first. I wish I did. I wish I like, for me it's like I want to keep creating stuff, and that's
that's exactly it. I don't think that money should ever be a factor when you're kind of like using your creativity and stuff like that. You should just go for it.
It's true, but now I have a bun in the oven, so I have to like
responsibility.
I gotta start thinking about
exhibit restraint in the imagination department.
A little bit, and maybe I might start making stuff that a kid could watch. Maybe.
Right?
Because a lot of the stuff I make tends to be very like R-rated, crude, and tries to like piss off someone, bite at something.
Like I said, you can make a really good faith-based film. I think you could
exactly.
go over the top. You could do it so cheesy where you will draw in the Christian base as well as the secular base because it'll just be like a satire.
Fatherhood
People will never know really
change
what
you.
it is.
Yes, fatherhood may change everything. Yeah. And so the movie, August 17th.
Yes. I wish it was a quicker date.
We'll ramp that one up for sure.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'll send you a screener for that. But yeah, that's coming out then. And Taking My Parents to Burning Man is available on like iTunes, Hulu, Xbox, I think.
Nice.
Just like Amazon. It's
just the streaming market. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I'm sure you can pirate it in a lot of different ways.
No pirating.
Don't do
pirating.
that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
No, support the film.
That's
I always
exactly
say
it,
support
yeah.
independent
Definitely.
films like that.
Definitely. No, I have to check them out now because Trevor is like ahead of me on all of it. So I'm like, I have to check it out now.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming and
thank you for
bringing
having
clips
me.
to it because that's awesome. I just love talking to filmmakers, so I'm totally all over that.
Yeah.
But now we got some trailers of other people's movies now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That have come along. The first one, the Lego movie was kind of a surprise hit.
Yeah.
And now we're getting a spin-off as well as another Lego movie. But the spin-off comes first, and it is the Lego Batman movie with Will Arnett reprising the role as Batman.
So stoked. I haven't seen this yet.
No?
Hello again, Uber Nerd fans. I heard you blew up the Twitter sphere about my sweet new feature film, the Lego Batman movie. You know, it's kind of like the original Lego movie, only vastly superior because it revolves entirely around me. So anyway, when you're as super as me, you don't get just one trailer. You get 2 trailers in 1 week. Check this out.
Keeps the mask on.
Yeah.
Hey, Mom.
All times.
Hey, Dad. I saved the city again today.
Save the city again.
I think you would have been really proud.
There you are.
I am so sorry. I have incredible reflexes.
I should have known better than to sneak up on you like that. Were you looking at the old family pictures again?
No, I wasn't.
Sir, I've seen you go through similar phases in 2016 and 2012 and 2008 and 2005 and 1997 and 1995 and 1992 and 1989 and that weird one in 1966.
I have aged phenomenally.
Do you want to talk about how you're feeling?
What? No, I don't want to do that.
Sir.
No.
Sir.
No.
Sir.
No. Gosh, I hope we're recording that. We're not Alfred. What did I say? ABR. Always be recording.
Oh, come on.
That looks great.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, and I think they've cast my favorite Alfred yet.
Yeah.
The voice. That's Ray Fiennes.
Oh.
That's doing the Alfred
love Ray
voice.
Fiennes.
I love Ray Fiennes. I love that he drop kicks him into the piano. It's just the first trailer is really good for that one too. They're all just teaser right now. They're all just separate scenes that were made for it, I guess. I don't know if those will actually incorporate into the movie, but
I'm looking forward to their marketing.
yeah, the
You can
viral
tell
marketing
already.
will be there. Yeah,
It's almost gonna be similar to Deadpool. You'll probably see a lot of those types of little trailers.
exactly little things cut into other things, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one. I'm also damn excited for this one. It's the new film from Shane Black, who wrote Lethal Weapon, Last Boy Scout. As far as a director, the mass audience knows him for making Iron Man 3. But he also made a film in 2005 called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and this movie, The Nice Guys, looks to be more of that type of film.
It's my husband. He's gone missing.
Missing?
I'm terribly worried. It's just Fred's never been gone this long before.
How long has he been missing?
Since the funeral.
Well, I can start right away.
Easy.
Gosling doing comedy.
You're a private investigator? My profession is very complicated, okay? It's nuanced. That's a lot of blood.
You
people and charge money.
Yeah, sad, isn't it?
How much would you charge to be my friend Janet?
What?
We also did Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the
That's
Dark?
good. This conversation is over.
The mob is trying to spread its operation to
cheese or
Los Angeles. Somehow, my daughter Amelia is involved. Please find her.
You seen this girl?
What's in it for me? Oh, we can do this the easy way. No! We're currently doing it the easy way. Whatever happened to offering me $20?
It's the recession. This is a high-profile case.
Made the newspapers. Where is Amelia?
What the hell's going on?
Oh, you know, there's a guy coming to kill us. That kind of crap. Hey, can you behave like a professional?
I'm sorry.
She's in danger, man. She's
dead. Inherent Vice?
Yeah, kind of has a bit of that feel
Definitely.
to it. The black exploitation kind of.
Yeah.
Why do you think everyone involved with this case is dying?
I love the 70s vibe to this.
I do too. This is not you. You're not a murderer.
You just killed 3 people.
I know, but I'm saying deep down.
Look, if you come in here, you beat up on me.
This trailer is shorter. Like
It's a very long trailer.
They're showing so much of it.
Yeah, they're giving away a lot of it. We saw this before the midnight special.
You saw this already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just saw it tonight.
That's what I'm talking about with the trailers. Like, they just give way too much away nowadays. It's like, wow, it was just like that was like a short.
Century, let's deal with the rotting corpse.
I got a plan.
That gag would have been so much fun to find out.
Yeah, less is more. Sometimes.
Well, the greatest thing about Shane Black movies is they're just crammed full of dialogue. Just so much dialogue. So there's a lot that we're not seeing yet.
Oh, for sure.
But this movie can't get here fast enough for me.
I'm sure some of their best set bits are definitely there.
Yeah, it's the studios. Studios are always wanting to get, they're like, oh, that's really funny. And they're like, well, that's one of my better things in the movie. We're going to use it. We're going to sell it. Okay, I guess
And that's like our new trailer for taking my parents, or for shooting the musical was a lot of that pressure. To like, no, you need to.
What do you hold back and what do you use to sell the film?
Like, we need you to sell this. Go show your babies. But
that's exactly. Well, at least you're putting together the trailer.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, hey, I'd love it if someone was more talented than me.
Just to grab a trailer and put it together. My film doesn't look like that.
Well, when you see it, that film still kind of gets me excited, though.
Yeah, it does.
It feels a little bit like Inherent Vice. I'm not sure if you guys saw the local film Bad City.
No,
Carl Basai's film from like a year ago.
I love Carl Basai though.
Well, he went for a full-on black exploitation film and like purposely made it bad, but the editor did the weirdest editing of this film, and like every shot, like the color correction's like terribly different. And, like, I would definitely it's on VOD, but it feels a lot like this.
Did you ever see Black Dynamite?
Yes.
So is it kind of?
It's so a lot of it is very Black Dynamite.
Oh, sweet! I love that.
It's just like, but it's like when you hear about it, like this should just be a short film. Why are you guys doing a feature? But you see it, and there's some charm.
Yeah, definitely. And Gosling doing comedy, I'm totally down with that. I'm not a big Russell Crowe guy, but
it's a 70s movie that really it takes place in the 70s, and it feels like it was made in the 70s. I like when they go for that aesthetic with it.
Definitely, and it's Shane Black, so I'm totally on board.
I'll be there.
So Todd Phillips, a name that hasn't been heard for a little while. Hangover 3 has come and gone a while ago. He's back with a new movie, Miles Teller, Jonah Hill. The film's called War Dogs. Here it is.
Tad concerned with your performance history against a deal of this size.
But after meeting you two face to face, we feel like we're in good hands on this one.
We won't let you down, sirs.
Not to mention your bid was far too attractive for us to pass up.
What did you mean by that exactly?
He means you boys lowballed the entire industry.
This one's based on
by
a true
how
story,
much?
right? I know somebody
You
read the
guys came in
script. Apparently the
$53
script's
million
fantastic.
lower than the nearest
I'm
competition.
actually looking forward to it. Kind of dig Miles Teller.
Yeah, well,
I like Jonah Hill too.
Okay. I like Todd Phillips.
Yeah, he kind of got the shits for the Hangover movies.
Yeah.
I even like Due
Now to a
Date.
question that still has no clear answer. How did two 20-something young men land a $300 million Pentagon contract?
I have a big idea.
Oh man, yeah, and they get their like.
They call guys like us war dogs, bottom feeders who make money off of war without ever stepping foot on the battlefield. It was meant
The
to be
real story behind
derogatory,
this is
but
amazing. I'm not sure if you guys have read about it.
No, I
It's-
haven't. No.
It'll blow your
Don't worry, I
mind.
have to go first. I'm American.
I heard about this film like years ago, but I knew Todd Phillips was attached.
Yeah, I didn't know he was attached to it either. I knew there was some movie with Jonah Hill and Miles Teller coming though.
David, we're gun runners. Let's go run some guns.
Give me some of that.
I'm so there. I'm so there.
You're getting closer. Come on, man, go!
And the characters they're based on were like actually super young. Like they're actually too old to be playing them. I remember when I saw it was like when they got busted. I think they were, or whatever, when things ended.
They're 22 or something like that.
Yeah, 22 or 23 or something like that. And I was like, what?
And so that one's called War Dogs.
That one's called War Dogs. It's Todd Phillips. It's got like, that trailer has like a kinetic kind of feel to it. Very flashy, very...
I'm so in.
Yeah. I really like the way that Phillips edits his movies together as well. So
Yeah,
it's
me too.
I'm definitely going to be checking out... Well, obviously I'll be checking this one out. So... Yeah, we'll see when that one hits. So let's get to the real fun part of the podcast.
The meat of the show. I couldn't wait, Steve.
One of our last segments on the show, and this is our stoner picks. All right, stoner picks this week. So mine, I'm piggybacking a bit on the fact that Midnight Special is coming out this week. And I'm bringing a film that I already kind of talked about, just briefly mentioned, Take Shelter. This is Jeff Nichols' second film. Stars Michael Shannon, Jessica Chastain in a role. I didn't really know a lot. Hadn't really seen Jessica Chastain a lot up to this point. This movie really sold me on both of them. This one definitely sold me on Jeff Nichols. Here's a look at Take Shelter.
Cool.
Look at his framing.
Yeah.
Like, this is. I love the soul that Jeff Nichols has in his movies. Like there is just.
Such an unspoken.
He's probably the greatest American filmmaker right now. One of them, for sure.
I gotta get more into his stuff. I'm embarrassingly, I've not. I kept meaning to see Mud and didn't. And
Mud was probably my favorite movie that year. I think it's better than Dallas Buyers. I think it's McConaughey's best work.
Yeah, and Film Spotting, they were going crazy that year about it. And
Ty Sheridan is in it as well, and he's fantastic. Reese Witherspoon as well, someone that I'm very on the fence with.
Can I just say this trailer is awful?
Well, this is actually just that's actually just a scene.
Oh, okay. This is.
Well, this is just a clip.
Yeah, this is just a clip.
Oh, okay.
This is just a clip.
I'm sure with context. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see it because I appreciate this guy's work, but watching this, I'm like.
Oh, I know. We always talk about that. It's so out of context. It's hard.
Yeah.
You get a sample of sort of what it's all about.
Yeah.
Definitely have to be very, very
kind of
stoned.
like mystery style?
This one, basically, it is very mysterious because he's experiencing visions of a dream, basically nightmares of something that's going to descend on his town.
Okay.
So he starts building a bomb shelter, and everyone thinks he's losing his mind, and including his wife. At a certain point, thinks that he's losing his mind.
It's kind of a Noah's Ark sort of.
Yeah,
storyline.
it's. I mean, just his framing of shots is incredible.
It looks very beautiful.
Yeah, this film operates with such a neat paranoia to it that kind of goes with the stoner thing of getting high and getting paranoid, really. And visually, this movie is just stunning, and it's just great to smoke a joint and just.
Are you more of a sativa on this one, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. You couch lock and just really
Or
lock
Indica.
yourself into that mystery.
Yeah, good Indica maybe.
Yeah.
In the couch.
In the couch.
In the couch.
Yeah.
In the couch. That's nice. I think we're taking that.
Yeah, no, that looks cool. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, take shelter for sure. What do you got this week, Trev?
I'm going with, it was actually on our intro, funny enough. I just realized that today. Office Space by Mike Judge.
Yes.
Classic film, and I've actually watched it again, and it's funny when you watch because the computer technology that they have in the film. Basically what it's about a guy who works in an office for a software company named Peter Gibbons. And it's about his life working sort of a job that he's not too thrilled about, and he just can't be happy. And he gets hypnotized where he just stops caring and just kind of lives his life the way he wants to live it. I think we got a clip, actually, of Office Space.
So I was sitting in my cubicle today, and I realized ever since I started working, every single day of my life has been worse than the day before it.
Yeah.
So that means that every single day that you see me, that's on the worst day of my life.
What about today? Is today the worst day of your life?
This is the good line here.
Wow, that's messed up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This movie is like such like crazy cult admiration. I don't know how it like keeps on going, but oh man, Mike, I love Mike.
Jennifer Aniston's in it.
Yes.
Stephen Root, who
Yes.
plays Milton.
Milton.
Who is a
I didn't get my
fantastic
piece of
character.
cake.
I could do my stapler. My stapler, please. Just such a really good stoner movie. And I remember the first time I saw that, I was sitting at home, and we had puffed away, and we put it in, not knowing what to expect, and was just like laughed so hard it hurt. Even from the opening scene where he's driving in traffic, right? Busy traffic, and you go from one lane to the next lane thinking you're going to go faster. Just little things like that. It's really great humor. I thought it was really well done.
Very
Definitely.
grounded in life.
Yeah, for sure. Mike Judge has always been that kind of a guy, or to just grab something absurd and just kind of
It's
roll
kind
with
of like
it.
a live action Anomalisa in a way.
Right? It's true, yeah. Definitely.
But yeah, I'm loving his new show, Silicon Valley.
It's fantastic.
Is there a new season coming out soon?
Yeah,
Not
season
soon
three.
enough.
Season 3 starting soon. I believe it actually is in April. So
okay,
yeah. So
Still
it's
not
coming.
soon enough.
It's coming. Yeah, exactly. So it's coming for sure. You brought something as well.
I did. I brought Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I was like a huge Clone High fan.
Me too.
And,
yeah.
Trying to always sell people on Clone High, and it was one of those things. I just went on the internet and I'm like, oh, they're doing this Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs thing, and I'm like, wait a minute. I know those names. How do I know those names? Sorry, what are the two guys, the creators' names?
It's Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm like, how do I know them? And I found out it's the Clone High guys. And I'm like, what? They're doing this animated show, and it's like a PG movie, and like the trailer looks all right. It stars Bill Hader, and so I called up a friend, and I was like, do you want to just go to this theater tonight and see this film? Like, I feel like they gotta have something funny here, and they haven't really returned to animation since that. Like, and so we got a little medicated. And watched it, and we were probably like the only adults there, and I was dying. Like, I love this film so much. It is like it's like a perfect play. It's like almost like a satire piece of like the epic film. And it is so well done. It's got a lot of like it's almost like a parody movie in its own way, but it's done so well and so funny, and like the best voice acting talent.
Definitely.
Like, Bruce Campbell's in there.
Yes,
Who played the dad again?
That is James Caan.
James Caan. They had Anna Faris.
Mr. T is in the first one. He gets replaced in the second movie by Terry Crews, which is a good replacement.
Fair enough. That's more relevant.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's a movie that caught me off guard, and I know I spent that like entire year being like, no, you have to see this too. I was in film school at the time, and I finally like convinced some of my friends to see it, and then they all got obsessed, and like it just came over like a wave. And it's like I've seen the movie probably like 4 times, and there's so many great details in there.
Yo.
I'm now waiting. I gotta wait till my kids like
there you go.
and
That's exactly it.
I've started to get a Google Doc together what shows I want to show my future
Yeah,
child.
well, you'll end up hating them after, because when you have kids, you watch them probably 1,000 times.
This is one you won't. This is definitely one you won't. I have to agree with it.
And it feels like a perfect companion piece to Hot Rod, which is like another great stoner. Oh, we have a trailer.
I do have a clip of this one.
Ranting.
No.
I was saving this for your birthday, but here.
A professional grade lab coat, just like the real guys wear.
From that moment on, I was determined to invent something great.
Remote control television.
I like that it looks around first.
Boulder. Monkey thought translator.
Hungry.
How wise.
Hungry.
No, Steve. No. Please just
Hungry.
rat birds.
The rat birds.
This is
the best ongoing joke ever. The rat birds are so good.
Oh, it's so good. Anything that Lord and Miller touch in the theatrical world is gold.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this. There's the Lego Movie, which we talked about earlier.
The only thing they did they co-wrote the original draft of one of the bad parody movies. I think it was either Disaster Movie or Epic Movie.
Yeah.
So
but those are like 9 writers doing those.
Yeah,
ones,
yeah.
so.
Well, I think it's just like a whole. It gets passed along
Exactly.
the chain. Whoever's left with the exploding bomb in their hand.
Exactly.
It's the first name.
And a lot of them are parodies before the movies have even come out, so they're only.
They're trying to be super, but I gotta say, like, those guys.
Oh, and 21 and 22 Jump Street.
Yeah, exactly. Like they can do no wrong, and I think for comedy, like, for big audience comedy, like, they're just such a sure bet that they're gonna entertain me, and they're also gonna entertain that guy with like the lowest IQ who goes and sees films, and like we're both gonna have a great time, and that's a hard thing to do.
Very hard. Yeah.
Zootopia did that.
Yeah. Zootopia did a great job of that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree for sure. And I mean, as for television, when it goes to those two guys, Last Man on Earth, which is currently airing on Fox,
right? It's not
and
bad.
The Greatest American Hero is coming as well.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
Believe it or not.
So are you an indica or a sativa kind of guy? Like, what do you prefer?
I'm sativa. I'm like I try to. I like it's like a wind down when I'm like I'm not one of those guys who can like get high and work or anything like that.
No,
right.
To me, it's like, that instead of like having that beer at the end of the day or what have you, it's like for me it's like my shut off. Let's watch a movie. Let's I have a stressful day or what have you, and honestly I keep going. Sour Diesel is like my
nice
go-to.
Do you watch a lot of Netflix? Like, do you throw in a lot of Netflix at home, or do you like to?
A fair bit. It's always like I just am like going down like recommendations, and whether it's on Netflix, Show Me, iTunes, all that sort of stuff. I've got my Chromecast going, so my phone is my remote control, and I just throw anything to the TV, and just ultimate laziness. But it's crazy. You got access to like everything now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what's the greatest thing about streaming in the internet. Gotta love it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Joel, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
How can our viewers and listeners contact you if they wanted to?
Well, I have a Facebook page that has my work, Joel Ashton McCarthy, and
look him up.
That's probably the best way to kind of see what I'm up to, and then if there's I take my parents to Burning Man's there, and then if you don't feel like paying for content but you don't want to pirate, there's Average Dicks, and that's just stoner comedy gone into it's a weird show. It's a show where we just didn't care about the audience.
You did a Christmas special too.
The Christmas special is like my favorite episode of the bunch.
I enjoyed that.
It's so hypocritical now that I'm gonna be a parent though, because it's all this like joke on like because I found out I have a baby on the way after we made the Christmas special, and there's this like big speech about this guy being like talking about like why. They basically adopt a kid that they think is a Syrian refugee, and at the end his mom has to like take this kid back because he's just a bratty kid who ran away from home and pretended to be a Syrian, and there's like this whole speech of like why he wanted to become a parent because he wasn't good at doing anything, and that's what people who aren't good at doing things do. And it's just like I watch it, and it's like it's so like
it's probably partly true,
but it's really I love that special, and it's so funny because like literally right after that happened. My life started to take some turns, and it was just like
karma.
Yeah, and I watch it.
Irony and karma working together.
And my new feature I've been writing, also before I knew about things, is about an accidental it spawns from an accidental pregnancy.
Nice.
So it's. I just got to stop writing things that could happen to me because they always do.
Yeah.
So.
Don't write any more meta stuff.
I gotta stop being so meta. Well, no, they never are meta at the beginning.
They're like
meta.
It's almost like you could like predict the future through what you write.
Yeah,
so be careful.
Yeah,
and they're
doubt.
comedies, so I'm always like shitting on my heroes, and then I'm like, no, that could be me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. Welcome back anytime, because that was a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Trevor.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Trev Dueck.
All right, and you can find me at the Stevil Dead on Twitter. So next week, what's going on next week? There's 8 movies next week. There's a massive slate of movies next week.
Yeah.
There's 3 wide releases. One is Melissa McCarthy teaming up with her husband Ben Falcone. They made Tammy together.
Yep.
Now she's back with The Boss. They have Kristen Bell. I love Kristen Bell, but am I loving the look of this movie? Not so much. Also, we have the first Call of Duty first-person action film.
All right.
Hardcore Henry finally gets his release after just slaying the midnight screenings at Toronto International Film Festival. Very excited about that one. We also get Richard Linklater's spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused. Everybody Wants Some. This takes place in the 80s this time, revolving around a baseball team at a university. Looks really interesting. In limited, we have the new Jake Gyllenhaal film, Demolition, from Jean-Marc Vallée, a director that I just absolutely love, who just hasn't excelled in the way I wanted to, but this is a return to form. A Canadian hockey film that almost looks like looks like a PK Subban type movie. We have the Hank Williams biopic with Tom Hiddleston, the internet's former boyfriend. Right. And an award-winning Argentinian film. That's all for you next week on April 8th. We're in April more into April next week. And thank you to Joel McCarthy for joining us this week. And we'll catch you next time on Flix Anonymous. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, you crazy cinephiles. Thanks for listening to Flix Anonymous. We can be heard weekly on VancityBuzz.com and LeagueOfManchildren.com. Feel free to send us nasty and abusive social media messages on Twitter at FlixAnon. If you need more characters to tell us how much we suck, you can find Flix Anonymous on Facebook. Until next week, may your weed be sticky and your scotch be hoppy.